Now watch the power. Look where he's hitting the cue ball to screw back.
We're going back in time to the very first shot recreation video I ever made, when I simply didn't have the ability or the technology to recreate the best shots. But has my game improved enough in the last few years to now play some shots I once thought impossible? To find out, I'm going to be recreating all of these shots again before playing them in the fewest possible attempts. We begin, however, with this Luca Brecel shot, attempting a long pot before crashing the cue ball through a pack of reds and getting it back down the table. The tournament was the 2019 Masters, so over 5.5 years ago now. It took me 6 attempts initially, and I didn't even get the cue ball through the pack of reds at any stage, and it ended up completely in the wrong place. I'm really happy to get this after just 2 attempts, and the cue ball's not too bad either. Well, I just about got away with that in the end. So let's move on to a shot I found a lot easier last time. This one in fact only took me 3 attempts, and it's a snooker from Junhui where you got to drop the cue ball down the table in behind the brown. My first attempt looks good, but the whites ended up next to the brown and I can easily see the red, so I'm going to have to try it again. I'm struggling to roll the cue ball straight all this way down the table, but this looks a bit better. It's gone to the side of the brown, but it's easily a snooker. This Judd trump shot is actually the first one I ever recreated because I played the shots out of sequence in my original video. As you can see, spins the cue ball around 3 cushions off the blue, finishing in good position on the next red. Similar to the Shanghai Masters shot we tried a couple of weeks ago, so hopefully I can remember that and do better than the 11 attempts this initially took me. So let's see if I can hit this one hard enough while preventing the blue from jumping out of the pocket. The line looks pretty good here, and I think I've got the pace absolutely spot on as well. On to a Neil Robertson shot that requires a lot of cue power, and I remember at the time only being able to screw this one back to the bulk line. Let's see if I can do any better than that and get close to how far Neil Robertson actually managed to screw this one back in the end. The advantage I have now is the magic cue ball, which allows me to simulate the TV tables and screw back nearly as far, but I'm still interested to see what would happen with a regular cue ball. Because I can clearly screw back far enough with this, I just couldn't see the black from that position, but this is a bit better. Well, that's not bad, but I want to have a go at the shot with a regular cue ball now, because last time with this thing I could only get the shot as far back as the bulk line, so I want to see with the same equipment if I can in fact play this any better. After roughly the same amount of attempts again, this was the best I could do. That's ridiculous when you think about it, because last time I could only get back as far as there, and I was really happy I made it screw back at all. So to be able to get back more than twice as far is just ridiculous. Onto a Judd trump shot that I simply couldn't play the first time. You do have to be really precise with this and use a lot of right hand side to avoid the 3 reds and get the weight absolutely perfect to end up in behind the brown. I took 27 attempts at this and only ended up with a shot that went close to the brown, not actually getting a snooker. It may be unsurprising then that I only ended up playing 5 shots in this entire video, although quite a few of them like this are pretty difficult to get right. I'm struggling even now to get the right-hand side right to move the cue ball around the reds while hitting the target red in the correct position. I keep hitting it a little bit too hard and catching it thin, and when I do get it right, the shot doesn't have enough pace. But I can't simply hit it harder because then I'd hit the red slightly thinner and the shot simply won't work. I've got the line, I just need to get the pace now, and this might be it. Yep, comfortably got the snooker. It's interesting to see how after 27 attempts last time I couldn't even pick up the angle, yet this time I've managed to work it out that quickly. I must not have thought much of this format because it took me until the World Championships that year to even try it again, where I once again recreated the best shots from the BBC Shot of the Championships, like this one from Gary Wilson. He really had to play this shot at the correct pace because if he ran past this red, he'd left shots on. I got this initially in only 5 attempts. Even though I did alright with this one, there was still a lot of shots in this video I was struggling with. So to get a true comparison of how I was playing then compared to how I'm playing now, I decided to stick the 2 videos together. Although I haven't got the line right yet, I'm not too far away from escaping this snooker. This looks pretty good, just depends on the speed. It's a little bit hard, but I've stuck on the edge of the red, so you can't play anything else. On to yet another Gary Wilson snooker escape that looks a bit harder because the cue ball starts in behind the green. However, as long as you avoid the pink on the way down the table, you're probably going to find the natural angle to hit the reds. This is what I did first time round on my first attempt. And it wasn't too difficult because I've also got it straight away this time. Onto a Judd trump shot that really worried me first time around, because not only have you got to pot the red at a tight angle into the middle pocket, you've got to screw the cue ball back up the table. It took me 7 attempts to even pot this one, and once I did, I wasn't really in good position on the blue. Thankfully here I've got it straight away, and I've even got up for the blue, which is good because I didn't want to have to put all that back again. Onto a Mark Williams pack split now, where he goes in and out of bolt with left hand side to open up the 5 reds. This one only took me 3 attempts the first time round, so let's see how well I can do now. The difference now, however, is I think I was practicing this shot a lot more back then. I usually find with this shot I can either put too little or too much side on it, so I go in behind the black or go just past the pink. I've caught the pink here, but I've not split the reds in the right way, so I'm going to have a go again. I'm sure I can get this one, but I've just got to judge the side spin, and I'm really struggling with that. This is why with most of the shots I haven't shown comparisons between how I got it the first time around, as with most of them I actually played a pretty decent shot. There was just 1 or 2 I couldn't play. This seems to be the other way round though, and it's taking me longer this time to get it right, although that's not bad, and I've ended up in really good position on a red. This Shaun Murphy shot, where he pots a red over the corner pocket and literally smashes the reds open everywhere, is one I never really got right the first time around, despite it taking me 9 attempts. I'm not going to compare it to last times, because last time I potted the red, hit the pack, and not much else happened. I didn't really get on the pink properly like I have here, and that's actually fairly close. Junhui's now playing this plant with a big gap between the reds that's nowhere near set to the corner pocket. Despite this, he knocks it in and gets on the black. It took me 7 attempts to get this the first time around, which seems about right. Let's see what happens now. Well, after my first couple of attempts, I don't even seem to be able to hit the first red in the right direction. You need to cut it to the left, and I'm more hitting it straight towards the pocket without the red being there. I'm slowly getting closer with this one, and hopefully it's going to go in. I've just about hit it hard enough to get back for the black as well. This Mark Williams shot actually took me 21 attempts the first time around, and that wasn't because I had any difficulty screwing back into bulk, it's just a difficult pot. Let's see how I get on with it this time. Well, that's probably more a lucky shot than anything. Overscrewed it a little bit as well. This next Dave Gilbert shot requires a lot of cue power. You've got to hit this one really well to get it back down the table, and it's something that took me 7 attempts the first time around. Let's see if I can do better than that again. Of course, there's a good chance with this one that I won't do any better than last time, because this is essentially just a really good pot. You have to hit this at full power and hope for the best. There's not a lot else to it. And the good news is I seem to be getting fairly close now, so any one of these shots could fly in at any second. There we go. I've missed the cannon on the pink on the way back, but other than that, that's a pretty decent recreation. Before we attempt yet another Gary Wilson shot, we've just got to find Reg, who's in Vilnius, Lithuania, which is there. This is a snooker from Gary Wilson that later got referred to as the shot of the decade, as he got the cue ball tight in behind the black and the yellow tight in behind the brown. Whether or not that's accurate is something for another time, because now I've got to try and play this, something I actually got fairly well after just 5 attempts last time, even though the yellow didn't come up anywhere near the brown. Straight away, I seem to have found the correct line for this shot. It's just the speed I need to get right now. Not just for the cue ball getting it in behind the black, but also the yellow getting it close to the brown. Getting both of these at the same time is going to be difficult, because if I play it slightly too thick or slightly too thin, then it won't work. The cue ball's perfect there, but the yellow ran on far too far, probably because I hit it a bit thick and too hard. Something I am going to need to balance out if I want to get anywhere near this shot. That's pretty good, it's just not quite hard enough. But as I'm using right hand side, I've got to control the spin as well as the power, and that's all making it difficult. This is looking pretty good though. The yellow's coming right in behind the brown, and the very edge of the black is just about covering the yellow. It's not perfect, but a lot better than what I managed last time. I managed to do fairly well with this Judd trump shot last time, as I potted it and screwed the cue ball all the way back to the middle pocket within just 9 attempts. Nowhere near the bulk cushion, but can I do this with a regular cue ball and get somewhere near the bulk cushion? Well, I'm happy to get that first time, and once again I managed to screw back a lot further than I could before. However, that's nowhere near the bulk cushion, so I think we're going to have to give the magic cue ball another run out for this shot. And in theory, that should make things easier, because I won't have to hit this shot anywhere near as hard, because it's going to be a lot more reactive, as it's a bit lighter and screws back a little bit easier. Despite this, however, I can't get anywhere near the pot when I'm not giving it as much pace, which is unusual, because I usually pot it a lot easier when I'm playing it as a slower shot. It just goes to show with some of these how hard they actually are to play. I've finally got it, screwed back about as far as I can, which is nearly to the bulk cushion, not quite there though. There were a lot of really difficult shots in these championships, so I'd be interested to know from you which of them you thought was the best. As usual, you can vote for them free down in the description, and if you want to see some more recreation shots from more recent championships, have a look at these 2 videos. And remember, don't just watch, play, and make the commitment to becoming a better player by subscribing to the channel and visit the website. See you later!